Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to expand on the previous contact form. We're going to add a third-party library called phpMailer. This will enable you to use your own mail server or a free mail server like Gmail to send the emails instead. So what we'll do in this case is we'll just go to our brackets editor. This is the previous contact form that we've created. I'll just create a new file and we'll call that intermediate.php, and I'm essentially going to copy all of this over. We're copying all of that across because we're essentially just building on top of the previous example. So what we'll have to do now is actually to install phpMailer. If you go to the phpMailer website, you'll find the instructions on there. You're just going to use Composer. Composer is essentially a package manager for PHP. So most of the third-party libraries will have some sort of a Composer repository that you can tap into. So in this case, it's just a case of opening up CMD, seed into the project, so desktop, then PHP contact form. And then we just want to run Composer. So it's generally fast. There we go. It's installed. You'll notice now that there's a new directory called vendor. Vendor essentially contains all your third-party libraries, and then there's an autoloader. It's essentially a script that loads all the libraries that you use, because some projects might have many libraries and you don't want to include every single one. You just want a way to include them in bulk. It's essentially what this does. But this means for our app, we now have to make a few modifications. So at the very top, we're just going to add a few lines, and I'll explain them to you in a second. So the first one that we added are the phpMailer core library and the phpMailer SMTP class. So the phpMailer class, the core class, and the SMTP class. Then I like to add a little date stamp in my email. So for that I need to have the default time zone set. I live in Cape Town, so I'm using the South African time zone. And then you have to include the autoloader. This essentially loads all of these libraries in the vendor folder. But I'll just have to I have to go outside because my vendor is outside of my public directory. If you remember, I like to use it the cPanel way. So I have a public directory where everything is public, and then I have private directories that are only visible to PHP itself. So now we're pulling in phpMailer. Now the only place that we're going to edit is essentially this bit over here. So what I will do is I'll just create a little spacer here. Alright, so word wrap we can actually keep at the top because I'm going to use that. Then we have to create the mail instance. So it's essentially creating a new phpMailer instance, making sure it's an SMTP account. We're setting the debug to 0. I'll increase that to 1 or 2 depending on the level if we run into problems, but I don't think we will. And then the server configurations, I have this saved, so I'll just add this in here. So it's, in essence, we're running from my mail server, which is mail.devspace. It's port 465, it's SSL, and the authentication is required. The username, no reply at devspace, and the password. I will change that password after this video is done, so don't get any funny ideas. Then we want to put the recipients. So those will be no reply at devspace is where it will come from, and it will be sent to youtube@erictia.com, which is my email address. You can put a CC in here as well if you wanted to send a copy of this email to the respondent, not the respondent, to the user that filled in the form. Then you can add that. It's essentially mail add CC and then the same string. So then we're just going to do a little bit of a change here. I went and added a bit of formatting to the message. So I changed this to be HTML. So I'll just add that here. First I said, yes, it has to be an HTML message. And then the subject is website inquiry. And then the body, so we have a little bit of a header, a first name, last name, email, and message, and a timestamp. And then all that we really want to change now is just this send condition. We change to phpMailers, which is mail sent that returns true or false. And then on the error, generally these kind of errors you actually want to catch and log and then mail or alert yourself as a server admin. But for this example, I'll just add the error in the screen itself that you can display to the user. At least that way, when he calls in, he can tell you exactly what went wrong. So generally, these sort of errors you want to catch and alert yourself. But in this case, for this example, I'm just going to add it in. It's not that bad. I mean, it's going to be stuff like failed to connect to server or something. It's very unlikely that it will actually expose sensitive information. It's not entirely wrong to show it to the user, but it's not advised. So anyway, in this case, we'll just do it as follows and call this intermediate as well as in the header. Call that intermediate as well. And then we can actually go and test this. So we go to this contact form, run it again. Just say Erik, surname is Tiart, email is YouTube. This is a test message. We submit it, should send, and I can actually go and show you what it looks like. And there we go. So this is what it looks like. It's being sent from no reply at dev space. The subject is website inquiry, and then this is the actual message. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything in this video that you want me to focus on a little bit more. I don't mind making a separate video. And please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Share it with your friends and family. Although not really a friends and family thing, but share it with people that you think would be interested in PHP. And yeah, have a nice day or night. Goodbye.